Morning, welcome to another Coffee and HEMA with me, Jamie McKeever. Today I'm going to answer a question by Adrian Brislan, sorry if I've got your name wrong, who asked it. This is a comment on one of the recent tournament videos that went up about scoring systems. He basically wanted me to talk about scoring systems and how they affect things and a few different things as well. I'm not going to be able to answer this in one video. I have lots of views about scoring systems. So today I want to talk about kind of what different rule sets do, and sort of what my experience of different rule sets is in terms of what I've actually fenced under. I'll talk a bit more later about specific rules and specific choices that you want to make. And I think today I might touch upon some pitfalls that people have when they devise rules for HEMA tournaments. So obviously, different tournaments, there's no standardized scoring. It surprises beginners every time I say this, but yeah, every tournament has slightly different rules. Or if they're using the same, it's because they want to, not because they're forced by anything. There are some what's it called, national government bodies that do have a standardized set of rules, but that's relatively uncommon. And these encompass things like how many points do you score for hitting the head, or what kind of strike scores what points. What happens when two people get hit, right? The timing doesn't matter. The priority doesn't matter. Priority and afterblow are two kind of common variations in terms of defining that, whether basically the initial strikers hit counts first, or whether it doesn't matter and you score it, as well as whether that is a full score, a subtractive score, or just a negation. Like, all these things change. And the thing you have to bear in mind with whatever score system you come up with is that 90% of fencers, maybe more, will fence exactly the same under whatever score system you give them. Most HEMA practitioners are not adaptive enough to read the rule set, change what they're doing, do a new thing. They will fall back on the same things they've trained, they've drilled, and it will benefit them or not benefit them depending on the scoring system. There are absolute exceptions to this. I certainly do adapt to scoring systems. I've got a previous video on why I think that's a good idea that I'll link to in the comments. Although I always forget to do that when I promise to do it. But for the most part, your tournament will not adapt immediately to any rule change. You do get local metas from a local rule set being dominant. People start to gravitate to that over time and they start to favor that. I've absolutely seen that with Wessex, even when it's unintentional. But by and large, if you just suddenly change the rules, the fencing will be the same for most people. So what the scoring system actually does is it gives you, it rewards fencers rather than modifies their behavior, rewards or punishes. And particularly if you want to see certain types of fencing later on in the pools, you need a scoring system that rewards the behavior with that kind of fencing that you want to see in the eliminations or whatever subsequent rounds are. Reward and punishment is what you should really be thinking about when you come up with a scoring system, rather than encouragement, because, as I say, most people won't adapt. For my own part, I've fenced in quite a few different systems, although there's certain things I haven't done much in. So I've fenced in the dominant for most of the UK is the Wessex League system, which is loosely based off the Nordic system, which I've also fenced in, with some differences. But the broad idea is you have high value targets, head and torso, torso for thrust only, low value targets, arms, etc. And when you get hit, that's what you score. If it's an afterblow or a double, the higher person scores that subtracted by the other score. I've done the same system one year where rather than subtracting, you get the full score. But otherwise, pretty similar. As I say, most of the Nordics use that kind of rule set with different scoring and different afterblow definitions, but broadly same kind of concept. I've done a few kind of semi-continuous wolf call. They came back from about a month ago. That's kind of semi-continuous. You don't stop on low scoring hits. You only stop on the high scoring hits. And you have 3 scored exchanges that are independent from each other when you get to 1 high scoring hit or 3 low scoring hits. I've done Minsk was something weird. It was broadly Nordic system with some strange ass weirdness brought in because it was designed by a committee of people who didn't agree on anything. I did. Fight Camp has a highly doubles get thrown out, and there's a highly prioritized approach system where the first hit, wherever it is, that's the one scoring, and then any subsequent hit just reduces its score. I have done very little priority in actual tournament. I've only done it once really. When I was visiting another club, they were training for Turnhow and they did some priority stuff. That was Bucks with Steve Cheney. I did like 2 judge bouts in priority. It was fine. I expected to hate it, and it didn't. And some other ones. Oh yeah, and then a few where there's no point differential for where it gets hit. Right, everything is the same score. One of those had also no definition of hit quality, so any teeny tiny touch was a scoring hit. Loved that one. Sarcasm. And various things that were played about with. Do you have a short afterblow? Do you have a long afterblow? That kind of stuff. The biggest mistake people make. Oh yeah, and a few other like one hit ones as well. Actually, sorry, yeah, I forgot about that one. I did Board's Tooth, which had both an actual one hit tournament, any one hit you done of the tournament, and a single exchange format for fights where one high value target ends exchange, 2 exchanges where you've got low value target, you win. That had quite a long afterblow time as well. Anyway, what's the point of all this? The thing I would say that people need to bear in mind when they're designing scoring systems more than anything else is that I don't care how cool or accurate you think your scoring system is or how wonderful you think it's going to be. It will have artifacts. It will be gameable. Every system is. It's not perfect, but you need a rule system, so just go with it. It's fine. But beyond anything else, what you need to do is remember someone has to go and judge that tournament system. So if you're putting in lots of complex exceptions and lots of weird random rules, or like, oh yeah, it's 6 inches down the blade you can't grab, but 7 inches is fine, or I don't know, it must go exactly 17.5 degrees before it's a valid cut. Judges cannot do that by eye easily, and the more things you add for a judge to keep track of, the more errors they're going to make and the worse the judgment's going to get. So every time you are considering what to do for your tournament system, you need to consider, is this rule worth it? Is the benefit from this rule, is the reward that I'm going to give or the punishment I'm going to give to the defensive from this rule worth the hit to judge quality I'm going to get? Because it will drop it. And I will probably do a video about judging errors at some point because they are quite consistent. I'll do probably 3 or 4 of these videos on different scoring systems. I'll talk about afterblow versus priority and weighting and all that kind of stuff, and weight targets, but this is definitely too much for one video. So thanks for watching, and hopefully the rest of them will be interesting to you too.